Most people think they want money, but that's not really true. What people actually want is security. They want freedom. They want peace of mind. And deep down, they want to wake up in the morning without fear. Money is just the tool we use to chase those things. And that's where the problem begins. Because the moment money becomes emotional, logic slowly leaves the room. Warren Buffett understood this very early in his life. He never claimed to be the smartest person in the room. What he did claim, quietly, was this: I learned how to control my emotions. That single skill explains more about his success than any balance sheet ever could. From childhood, most of us are taught a simple formula: study hard, get a good job, earn money. But no one teaches us what to do after the money arrives. So what happens? People work for 20, 30, sometimes 40 years. Their salary increases, their lifestyle improves, their expenses grow. But their freedom stays exactly the same because income went up, but wealth never showed up. Buffett explains it in one line: income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. If you don't understand that difference, you can run your entire life and still feel like you're standing in the same place. Let me ask you a question, honestly. If you stopped working today, how long could your life continue without panic? A few weeks? A few months? A year? That answer tells you everything about how free you really are. Freedom doesn't come from having money. Freedom comes from money working for you. And most people never reach that stage because they confuse consumption with progress. They buy bigger houses, but not more time, nicer cars, but not more peace, luxury experiences, but not long-term security. Buffett lives in the same house he bought decades ago. He eats simply. He lives quietly. Not because he can't afford more, but because he understands something most people miss. Enjoyment doesn't come from spending more. It comes from worrying less. So what is investing, really? For many people, investing means buying stocks, watching prices, hoping for gains. But for Buffett, investing means something deeper. It means giving up a little comfort today to gain massive freedom tomorrow. That's why he says, do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving. That sentence sounds simple. Living it requires character, because human nature prefers today over tomorrow, comfort over discipline, applause over patience. Now let's talk about risk, a word most people misunderstand. Most people think risk means the stock market. Buffett disagrees. He says risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. In other words, risk is not about volatility. Risk is about ignorance. Someone who invests 10% of their income consistently in things they understand over a long period of time is not taking reckless risk. They are reducing it. Real risk comes from ego, rushing, copying others, chasing what you don't understand. There's also a major misunderstanding about enjoyment in life. We're told that enjoying life means spending now. But Buffett believes something very different. He once said, true enjoyment comes from peace of mind. The person who knows their future is secure can enjoy simple things deeply. The person who knows their future is uncertain can't enjoy anything fully, no matter how expensive it is. That's why you see wealthy people who can't sleep and ordinary people who feel calm. Money doesn't buy peace. Preparation does. This series is not here to make you rich overnight. It's here to help you avoid lifelong mistakes. Because Buffett puts it perfectly, you only have to do a few things right in your life, as long as you don't do too many things wrong. Wealth is not built through brilliance. It's built through restraint, not through excitement, but through consistency, not through noise, but through quiet, patient decisions. This is the foundation. Everything else, investing strategies, income planning, risk management, life enjoyment, stands on this mindset. Without this, nothing works for long. Most people believe income is the solution. If they can just earn more, everything else will somehow work itself out. But income by itself solves very little. In fact, without the right mindset, higher income often creates bigger problems, not fewer. Warren Buffett has watched this happen for decades. He has seen people double their income and still live paycheck to paycheck, not because they are irresponsible, but because income changes faster than behavior. Income does not create wealth. What you do with income does. Two people can earn the same amount of money and end up in completely different places in life. One becomes free, the other becomes trapped. Trapped in obligations, expectations, and fear. And the trap usually starts at work. Work gives us money, but it also shapes our thinking. When income arrives regularly, every 2 weeks, every month, the mind starts to believe it's permanent. People begin to assume this job will always be here. This paycheck is guaranteed. I can always fix things later. Buffett never believed that. He understood something early on. Your job is not your security. Your skills and decisions are. That's why he treats income like a visitor, not a promise. When money comes in, he doesn't celebrate it. He assigns it a purpose. Most people never do that. Money comes in, money goes out. Whatever is left, if anything, gets called savings. Buffett flips that completely. He believes income should be divided before it's spent. One part for living, one part for investing, one part for future security. Not because he's extreme, but because he's realistic. Let's talk about income types, because not all income behaves the same. And Buffett is very clear about this. Salary income, the illusion of stability. A salary feels safe. It arrives on time. Taxes are handled automatically. Life feels predictable, but that predictability hides a danger. When income feels guaranteed, people stop thinking defensively. They take on bigger mortgages, longer car payments, fixed expenses that can't be reversed easily. Buffett warns against this kind of comfort. He believes salary income should be treated like a temporary resource, not a permanent foundation. Why? Because companies change, industries shift, economies reset, and fixed expenses don't care. For salaried workers, Buffett's philosophy is simple. Use stability to build assets. Don't use stability to build obligations. Freedom with hidden risk. Business owners feel independent. They don't wait for paychecks. They control their time, at least in theory. But business income is unpredictable. Some months are great. Some months are quiet. Some months are painful. Buffett understands this volatility well. That's why he believes business income should be handled with extra discipline, not extra confidence. The mistake many business owners make is this. When income is high, they spend like it will always stay high. Buffett does the opposite. When income is high, he prepares for when it won't be, because he knows the goal of business is not lifestyle. It's durability. Freelance and variable income, the discipline test. Freelancers live in uncertainty. Income goes up and down. Clients come and go. This lifestyle demands something Buffett deeply respects: self-control. Without structure, variable income becomes chaotic. Buffett would say this kind of income requires larger emergency reserves, lower fixed expenses. Conservative investing behavior, not because the person is weak, but because the income already carries enough risk. The goal is balance. No matter the income type, people fall into the same mental traps. Trap number 1, lifestyle inflation. When income goes up, spending follows immediately. New apartment, new car, new habits. But freedom doesn't grow at the same speed. Buffett avoids this trap completely. He doesn't upgrade his life every time his net worth increases. He upgrades his margin of safety because he understands the most dangerous expense is the one you can't undo. Trap number 2, confusing reward with progress. People often say, I deserve this, and sometimes they do. But Buffett separates reward from habit. An occasional reward is healthy. A permanent expense is dangerous. Enjoyment should be intentional, not automatic. Trap number 3, borrowing from the future. Debt feels harmless when income is strong. Payments seem manageable. But Buffett sees debt differently. He sees it as negative compounding. Just like investments grow over time, debt grows quietly, often faster than income. That's why he avoids unnecessary debt, even when he can afford it. Let's talk about life enjoyment, because Buffett is often misunderstood here. People think he's against enjoyment. He's not. He's against enjoyment that steals from the future. He believes life should be enjoyed, but enjoyed without anxiety. A vacation you can afford feels good. A vacation funded by pressure doesn't. A simple life with control feels better than a luxurious life with fear. This is where Buffett's philosophy becomes deeply human. He's not trying to win a competition. He's trying to live well for a very long time, and that requires patience. He once said something most people ignore. Someone who saves and invests consistently will eventually outrun someone who earns more but spends everything. That sentence explains entire lives. Income is powerful, but without intention, income becomes a leash. Work becomes a treadmill. success becomes exhausting. The goal is not to escape work. The goal is to escape fear. This is why Buffett focuses so much on simplicity, consistency, long-term thinking. He knows most financial disasters don't come from bad luck. They come from small decisions repeated carelessly. Most people think risk is loud. They imagine risk as a market crash, a bad investment, a sudden loss. But Warren Buffett understands something most people don't. Real risk is quiet. It hides in overconfidence. It hides in impatience. It hides in decisions that feel safe but slowly destroy flexibility. Buffett doesn't fear volatility. He fears permanent loss because temporary drops heal with time. Permanent mistakes don't. Time is the most misunderstood element in investing. People respect money, they chase money, they measure money, but they waste time casually. Buffett treats time like capital. Once spent, it never returns. That's why he never rushes. He waits and waits and waits. Then, when conditions are right, he acts with conviction. Most people do the opposite. They rush into bad decisions and hesitate when opportunity appears. Volatility feels dangerous. Prices go up, prices go down. People panic. Buffett sees volatility as information, not a threat. He once explained it this way: the market is there to serve you, not to instruct you. When prices fall, he doesn't ask, "What should I do?" He asks, "What is this worth now?" Because price is emotion. Value is reality. Patience is not passive. This is where many people misunderstand Buffett. They think patience means doing nothing. It doesn't. Patience means being prepared while others are distracted. It means understanding what you own so you don't panic when the world panics. It means waiting for the right pitch. Buffett often compares investing to baseball. You don't have to swing at every pitch. There are no strikes. You can wait forever. Most people don't wait. They feel pressure to act. News, social media, friends, experts. Action feels productive, but in investing, unnecessary action is often the enemy of progress. Buffett's best decisions were often decisions not to act, not to sell, not to chase, not to react. Let's talk about mistakes, because Buffett is very honest about this. He has made mistakes, big ones, but here's the difference. He doesn't repeat them. He believes one good decision, protected by patience, can outweigh many small mistakes. That's why he says, you only have to do a few things right in your life, as long as you don't do too many things wrong. One of the greatest risks people take is confusing activity with progress, checking prices daily, switching strategies, jumping between ideas. This creates the illusion of control, but it destroys compounding. Compounding needs stillness. It needs time uninterrupted. Fear shortens time horizons. When people panic, they stop thinking long term. They sell future gains to relieve present discomfort. Buffett understands this weakness deeply. He prepares for fear before it arrives. He holds cash. He keeps expenses low. He avoids leverage, so when fear comes, he has options. That's the real advantage. Not intelligence, not speed. Optionality, the ability to wait, the ability to say no, the ability to survive bad periods without permanent damage. Time rewards those who respect it, but time punishes those who interrupt it. Selling too early, changing plans too often, reacting emotionally. These are small decisions with huge long-term costs. Buffett once said, the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. That's not a metaphor. It's a description. Every panic creates a transfer. Every overreaction moves wealth, and it always moves in the same direction. Life works the same way. People who can delay gratification, who don't need immediate validation, who can stay consistent through boredom. They don't just build wealth, they build resilience. They sleep better, they think clearer, they enjoy life more. This is where investing and life intersect. Patience in money creates patience in living. You stop chasing. You stop comparing. You stop needing constant proof that you're doing okay. Buffett's life looks simple, but simplicity is not accidental. It's intentional. He removed complexity so he could focus on what mattered. Long-term thinking, quality decisions, emotional stability. Warren Buffett never thought of himself as a stock picker. That idea came later, after people started watching his results. In his own mind, he was always doing something much simpler. He was buying businesses. That single perspective changes everything. Most investors stare at charts. Buffett studies behavior. They watch price movement. He watches cash movement. They react to headlines. He asks one quiet question: will this business still matter 10 years from now? If the answer is unclear, he walks away. Value, in Buffett's world, is not about being cheap. It's about being understood. A low price doesn't make something valuable if the business is fragile. A high price doesn't make something bad if the business is durable. Buffett is not looking for bargains. He's looking for certainty in uncertainty. This is why he avoids complexity. If a business needs advanced explanations, multiple assumptions, or perfect conditions to succeed, he's not interested. He prefers businesses that are easy to understand, consistent in demand, boring to talk about. Boring businesses pay very well over time. Exciting ones often don't. Let's talk about moats. One of Buffett's most important ideas. A moat is protection, something that keeps competitors away. Brand loyalty, cost advantages, distribution networks, customer habits. If a business has no moat, profits are temporary. If a business has a strong moat, time becomes an ally. Buffett doesn't need perfection. He needs durability. He knows that mistakes will happen. But if the core business remains strong, those mistakes don't destroy the future. That's why he's comfortable holding positions for decades. Most people trade because they're uncertain. Buffett holds because he's confident. Confidence doesn't come from optimism. It comes from understanding. Understanding removes fear. This approach is powerful because it aligns investing with human behavior. People don't change habits easily. They don't abandon trusted brands overnight. They don't stop buying what works. Buffett invests in that predictability. Now let's talk about ordinary investors. You don't need to analyze hundreds of companies. You don't need advanced models. Buffett often says, the best investment most people can make is in a low-cost index fund. Why? Because it removes ego from the process. It removes timing decisions. It allows compounding to work without interference. Complexity feels smart. Simplicity works. Most underperformance comes from overtrading, chasing, trends, trying to be impressive. Buffett is never trying to be impressive. He's trying to be right over a very long period of time. He also understands something deeply human. People struggle to sit still when others appear to be getting rich faster. Envy destroys discipline. Comparison kills patience. That's why Buffett ignores short-term rankings. He measures success in decades, not quarters. This mindset extends beyond investing. It shapes how he lives. He doesn't need constant upgrades. He doesn't chase novelty. He values reliability. A reliable life feels boring to some people, but boring compounds. Chaos doesn't. Buffett believes the greatest enemy of wealth is not bad markets. It's bad behavior, overconfidence, impatience, emotional decisions, fixed behavior, and the strategy becomes simple.